Can you hear me?
Okay. Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Appreciate everybody for being here at the Quorum Court Committee meeting for Tuesday, April the 5th. Time now is 5:30 p.m. I will do roll call. And so Justice Jimmy Fisher.
Here.
Justice Ted Harden.
Here.
Justice Reginald Adams. Justice Roy Agee.
Here.
Justice Conley Byrd.
Present.
Justice Alfred Carroll. Justice Melanie Dumas.
Here.
Justice Brenda Bishop Gaddy.
Here.
Justice Glenda Daniels. Justice Danny Holcomb.
Here.
Justice Cedric Jackson.
Here.
Justice Patricia Royal Johnson.
Here.
Justice Reginald Johnson.
Here.
Thank you. We do have a quorum.
Mr. Adams just showed it.
Justice Adams.
Here. I was already here.
Thank you, Justice Adams. Next, we will have the report of the committees. We will start with Public Safety, Justice Conley Byrd.
There it goes. We have one item before us on the Public Safety Committee. All members are counted for on the committee. That'd be Reginald Adams, Roy Agee, Jimmy Fisher, Melanie Dumas, Brenda Bishop Gaddy, and Patricia Royal Johnson. First item, and only item we have, is an appropriation ordinance to appropriate funds to the Fund 1813 Adult Jail.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion or questions?
That was just money left over from last year that wasn't spent.
This was money that wasn't spent last year
Last year.
because of supply and delivery
Right.
things.
Yeah.
So it's still in their budget, but it's not been appropriated for this year.
Okay.
Any other questions? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed? The motion's approved to go to the Finance Council with a due motion to approve. That concludes the Public Safety, Judge.
Thank you, Justice Byrd. Next, we'll have the Human Resource Committee, which is Justice Cedric Jackson.
Good evening, Judge. We have two on the agenda. Our members are here, present. First on the agenda, resolution authorizing the county judge of Jefferson County to apply for a grant on the behalf of the county. Do I have a motion and a second? I got a motion and a second. Any questions? Time for vote. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? All right, motion passed. Moved over to the full court. Second on the agenda, a resolution of the Quorum Court of Jefferson County, Arkansas, approving the appointments of 2 members to the Jefferson County 911 Administrative Board.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, I got a motion, a second. Any questions?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman.
Did Michael Stevens not want to re-up? Did he not want to be reappointed? I'm just curious.
By recommendation of the committee, they asked for Redfield Mayor. His time is up.
His time?
Yeah, so they wanted, she was very interested in serving, so that's
Okay.
what that was.
Okay.
Any more questions? I got a motion, a second. All in favor, it's time to vote. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any nays? Ayes will have it. Bless you.
Mr. Chairman,
Oh,
may I ask a question?
yes.
The legislation to hire county employees, would that come under human relations or would it come under finance in terms of committee? Human resources. I'd like to make a motion, Mr. Chairman, with your permission. Meeting.
It's already been, it's already passed. It's already passed.
Who's on
Yeah, on the committee is Human Resources, Cedric Jackson, Melanie Dumas, Roy A.G., Connie Bird, Alfred Carroll, Brenda Bishop Gaddy, and Reginald Johnson.
Okay. Mr. Chairman, if you would accept the motion, I'd like to make a motion that we would allow for Mrs. Humphreys' request to be discussed and possibly sent on to Finance Committee if I get a second. No, I'm not talking about anything we voted on. First I tried to clarify under which committee would the request for new employees come under, Human Resources or Finances? And Mr. Chairman told me it comes under Human Resources. I then asked him if he would accept or entertain a motion that Mrs. Humphreys' request would be heard by this committee if I got a second.
Second.
That is a substitute motion. The motion has been made and the committee has already passed. So Justice Carroll, your request would be out of order since we already have a motion that is on the floor and has passed.
Mr. Chairman, addressing the judge, I'm not substituting my motion for any of the business items that are currently on the page. This is a totally different item that the chairman has indicated a willingness to entertain if I got a second. I made the motion, I got a second. So within the privy of the committee process that we utilize, it is appropriate within committee, since the chairman has accepted the motion and it has been seconded.
Mr. Chairman, I have a question. I'm trying to understand, what are we, this motion that Justice Carroll is referring to, which is a new motion and it's not on our agenda, is this for a position, or what are you asking? For us to approve a position, a slot?
I'm asking that her request be on the committee's agenda and an opportunity for it to be discussed, and whether or not it goes to finance is up to the committee, how the committee votes. And I've made the motion with the chairman's permission, and it's been properly seconded, in that the committee system is the system that we utilize here to conduct county business. I thought it appropriate that we would attempt to make that motion in committee. And so it's been made, it's been seconded, and Mr. Chairman would, he already knows then that he would need to follow through with discussion and a vote.
Chair. The county judge sets the agenda, the addition to the agenda, and whether it comes through committee or not, has to go through the proper channel. It has not. If Justice Carroll would like for this to be added to the agenda, we are going by the order of what we have. So the county judge sets the agenda. Not that I am disputing it being put on the agenda, but it is already, the agenda is already set, and the county judge sets the agenda. So I understand that you go through the chair still does not have the authority to place that on the agenda unless it is properly placed on the agenda, and that authority lies with the county judge.
Mr. Chairman, in all due respect, I think our judge is absolutely incorrect in what the law says. The law says that the county judge is to preside over the quorum court with no vote. With no vote. He is to preside over the quorum court. This is not the quorum court. This is a committee meeting, and you are the chair, and you have the authority to rule in and out of order. Our attorney is sitting over there. You have that authority to rule in and out of order, and contrary to popular thinking, the county judge, it is not his prerogative to set the agenda for committee meetings. It's what we permit him to do when it comes to committee. Technically, the preparation for this, for these meetings are not even the first option to be held in his office. I don't want to make that argument. I simply want to follow through on the motion that has been approved and seconded, and allow for discussion. Because us discussing it does not change, that does not mean it's going to go to finance, nor does it mean it's going to go to the quorum court. It's just a discussion.
Mr. Chairman, I have another question. This is exactly what Justice Carroll is making, is an argument. We have an agenda before us, whether it's in committee or full quorum. we have an agenda, and this is not the procedure. If he wanted to add something to an agenda, he needs to go to the county judge's office and have it put on the agenda for us to discuss. It's not up for you to just put it out here and say, regardless of what's on this agenda, I have something else that I want to put on here, interject, and we talk about that. We're not prepared to talk about that. That's not on the agenda for us to discuss. So if you want to be in order, why don't you go by the order of it?
Mr. Chairman, Ms. Daniels is absolutely correct. It is not my privity to say what we will discuss. That's why I asked your permission. Would you entertain a motion? You said you would. I made the motion. It was second.
He entertained a motion to listen to
I'm talking
what
to
you
the
were
chairman.
asking.
I'm talking to the chairman.
He didn't
I'm
entertain
talking
a
to the
motion to
chairman.
put that on
I'm
the
talking to
table.
the chairman.
Hey, y'all, hold on. The judge, right now, we got a motion and a second on the floor right now, and, so considering that we have a motion and a second, we have to go through the process. All right, we got a motion and a second to, entertain.
I would request that Ms. Humphrey speak to the motion.
Mr. Chairman, I call the question.
Hold on, we got a motion and a second to entertain Ms. Humphrey's, statement. We had the questions, it's time to vote. All in favor by saying aye.
Wait,
Any nays?
Chair,
No.
I didn't understand the motion. I heard him saying a lot of things over there, but I never heard what the motion was.
The motion was that giving Ms. Humphrey a few minutes to get up and speak to the committee.
To the motion that her request be placed on this agenda be heard. And that has been approved.
So we got a motion and a second, and we all have to favor aye. Any nays?
No.
And the motion is to allow her to speak to the
Yes.
committee.
Yes.
No, sir. The motion is to entertain her request. After the chairman received the second and opened the floor up for discussion, I then requested that Mrs. Humphrey be allowed to speak to the motion in that she has pertinent information to her request.
Okay, so I'm confused at what her request is.
I'm offering, I believe I made the motion, and I believe I asked that she be allowed to address this committee to clarify anything that was not clear in the motion that I made that was properly seconded.
Well, I didn't understand the motion and the second.
So
I
that,
heard it made, but I didn't understand what the motion is. I'm hearing now that you want her to address the committee, and I want to be clear about what the motion is.
the motion pertained to her request to be on the agenda. The only way she can be on the agenda is she has to come through the committee. So I have made a motion, and it has been properly seconded. The chairman opened the floor for discussion. I then asked permission for Mrs. Humphreys to speak and bring clarity to the motion. And I certainly respect your point of unreadiness, but I
So-
think that
Let me repeat this back if I can. Your motion was to have her address the committee on what she needs.
no, sir, that was not my motion. That was my request after the motion had been made, approved, and the chairman opened up for discussion.
Well, I'm still trying to determine what the original motion was to accomplish.
Mr. Byrd, Justice Byrd, it is to provide an opportunity for Mrs. Humphrey's request of additional employees to be heard.
Okay, you're not asking to make a slot. You're just asking to hear from her about needing a slot.
That's all I can do, sir.
Justice, the chair, if I may. Where's Ms. Humphrey? Ms. Humphrey, would you have a problem with being on the agenda for next month to give you proper time to discuss? And we've had brief conversation about some of the things that was going on. So would you be okay with being able to have it on the agenda to explain some of that you have talked to me about?
Yes, I don't necessarily need to be explained. I was before you last month and explained everything. I was just simply asking for it to be on the agenda, and I'm not sure if I think that's all we're asking.
Okay.
Is to be on the agenda,
So,
whether it's voted up or down. And I thought that I went through the proper procedures to be put on the agenda.
you did. So
And I think
not trying to, not,
has been made.
right, not trying to cut you off. So would you be okay with some of the information, we talked, I guess, what, was a week ago, maybe, to some of the things that,
Last month?
no, last week. When we,
Last week?
well, when we talked about the issues when you went to Little Rock or whatever, was that last month? It could have been.
I'm getting old, I don't know.
Okay, so I'm simply asking you to,
All I want to know is.
okay, so would you agree to be on the agenda next month and be able to state, to be placed on there and state your case?
I don't think I should have to state my case.
Well, that may have been a bad choice of words. What I'm saying, to be placed on the agenda.
Please.
Yes. So Chair, if you would agree with that she will be on the agenda for next month?
So Judge, as far as the motion and second and the vote that we have on the floor now, we just.
I'd entertain a separate motion to entertain and allow Ms. Humphrey to be on the agenda for next month, and that we would follow tonight's agenda.
Mr. Chairman, that is out of order. The judge cannot suggest any motion to be made within committee. If
Somebody on the committee needs to make
If Ms. Humphries is saying that she do not want to go forward this evening with attempting to send this item to the Finance Committee,
Melanie Dumas.
I can say that.
oh,
She said she just wanted to be on the agenda. She wanted to be on the agenda. Hey,
I can secretary that way, it says Ms. Humphrey agreed to it, go ahead and place her on the agenda for next month.
Okay, do I have a second? Can I get a second? All in favor by saying aye?
I didn't hear a second, Mr. Chairman. I didn't hear a
Is that
second.
Justice Dumas?
Okay.
And all in favor by saying aye?
Aye.
Any nays?
Nay?
I have a question.
I have a question. When you say put on the agenda, what, are you putting me on the agenda to talk? Are you putting my request on the agenda?
Your request,
Okay.
yes.
Will you please make sure that she is on that agenda, whoever needs to be reminded, talk to, whatever, so we won't have to talk about this. Okay, thank you.
There's a motion passed.
Thank you, Justice Jackson. We will now move on to Budget and Finance, and that's Justice Jimmy Fisher.
Thank you, Judge. Budget and Finance will now come to order. All being present. Judge, there are 9 items on the agenda. One being an item that came from the public safety, which has been discussed through the committees and is passed on to finance. We now would like to entertain.
Move it be approved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Being that there's not any, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 2 on the agenda, Judge, will be a resolution of the Quorum Courts of the Jefferson County of Arkansas approving the appointment of 2 members of the Jefferson County 9/11 Administrative Board.
That's not
already been
before the
discussed.
committee.
Item 2 was on.
Second item is an appropriation order to appropriate funds to fund 36 recycling utilities.
Yeah.
Move to pass that on to full court with impact.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? If not, all in favor? All opposed? Like sign. Motion carries. Item number 3, an appropriation ordinance to appropriate funds and funds 2,000 roads and bridges. We have a motion.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions?
May I speak to that, Mr. Chairman?
Who made the motion?
That is.
Chair recognizes Justice Carroll.
If I could ask a question to you, to Judge Robinson?
Yes.
I'm waiting for Mr. Chairman to tell me it's okay. Can
Are you
I,
asking me?
yeah, ask Judge Robinson a question through you?
You have my approval.
Okay. Judge Robinson, is it possible that we could partner with the neighboring county or exchange some work, I guess you should, I could say, with neighboring counties as a partnership? Is that, I know we did it one time years ago on some bridges, but I'm just wondering, is that still something that we can do?
Yes, we already have a memorandum of understanding with our neighboring counties. For instance, with Cleveland County, we have a road that is split by Jefferson County and Cleveland County, and we provide maintenance to that particular road. So we have already developed those partnerships when there is a need to help one another out.
Okay. What county is Gould in?
Lincoln County.
Lincoln. A reason why I ask, and I guess it will sound a little personal, my 90-year-old brother was here for my sister's funeral, and let me thank all of you who paid your condolences. And we went down to the Holmes Cemetery down at Pleasant Grove Church down in Gould, and the bridge is 4x4s with spaces. And it's been like that for the last 20 years, if I'm not mistaken, that I've gone down there to that cemetery. And I didn't know what our relationship was with them, if they even interested in partnering with us for something of that nature,
Yeah.
since we're doing bridges.
Yeah, Judge Buddy Ernest and I have a great working relationship, and so he has called on Jefferson County a number of times, and we've called on him, and so I'm sure that that relationship is strong enough to where we can do those things that need to be done.
Yeah. It's about it may be 20 foot long, maybe 20 foot. Yes, thank you, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
Chair recognizes Justice Harding.
I might mention that this amount of money was funded last year and it wasn't able to be completed, so it's just been asked to be reappropriated this year.
Thank you, Justice Harding. Are there any other questions? If not, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 4, an appropriation ordinance to appropriate funds to fund 36 recycling.
Move to pass that on to full court. Was that passed?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman, I want to add this is money from the sale of old equipment that we had last October.
And those monies would be in the sum of $11,973.15. That's what we have in question.
Correct.
Are there any questions? If not, all in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, an appropriation order to appropriate funds to the 2000 County Road Fund sales.
Move we pass that on to the full court with the recommendation of the dispatch.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions?
Mr. Chairman,
Chair recognizes Justice Carroll.
how do we advertise those sales?
Judge, you want to address that?
We use a Blackman auction, and they will put out a flyer. They put it in the Arkansas Democrat Gazette. Now, if we do it ourselves, then we advertise in the paper.
So we don't necessarily communicate that within the realm of the courthouse.
No. But it is online. It's on Blackman auction line. It's in the paper, and it's in a.
But we don't like make a little post and stick it up on the wall going out doors.
Any other questions? Not all in favor? All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item number 6, an appropriation order to amend appropriation ordinance number 2020-1160, the 2021 budget of the general funds, and to provide a supplemental appropriation to the various counties, departments of the county general fund for an additional salary increase for all full-time county employees. Do we have a motion?
I move we pass it on to the full court with the recommendation of the dispatch.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions?
Yes.
Question recognized, Chair recognized Justice Byrd.
So this is not an additional deal. The only thing we're adding here is that one position, the district court chief of staff, to be funded. We're not talking about an additional 6% on top of what we've already given out.
No, there's just a 6% salary increase, and then that, the salary, the 6% living wage increase that we already have passed on the record.
Okay.
Justice Fisher, if I may.
Chair recognizes the judge.
This is basically, Dr. Byrd, we made a boo-boo. When we did the ordinance, we did everyone, and we left district court out. And I didn't realize that we left the district court chief off. I remember having a conversation with the treasurer, because I had left the employee out. So we had a pretty hearty conversation that raised that slot amount up to the same all across the board. And I failed to do that for district court. So it's basically, the ordinance reads that and there are some employees that may receive more than that 6%. All this is doing is bringing that slot amount up. And since it should have been done last year, we're going to retro and give her money.
Mr. Chair.
Chair recognizes Justice Carroll.
And I guess what threw me off, Mr. Chairman, is when it said additional. I guess I had that underlined. I guess that kind of threw me off. Am I reading the right thing?
That's the ordinance, but it's.
Am I reading the right thing?
For an additional salary increase for all full-time county employees, that you are reading correctly, Justice Carroll.
So is this going back and redoing something, or is this additional?
The only thing, this ordinance is passed already. You see where it says amended Article 4. The only thing that was added was Article 4. Article 4 was added to include the district. The entire ordinance already passed. So to amend it, Article 5 was Article 4. I brought it down, just added Article 4 to include District 4. So it passed already, I just, to amend the ordinance, I just added Article.
So all we really doing is the amendment.
Yes,
All we really doing is number 4.
yes, yes. Everything else has already passed, and we're just adding Article 4, that's it. So it's just an amendment to the previous ordinance that passed.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Mr. Chairman,
Chair recognizes Justice Hardy.
I just make a comment that this is funded through the school district funding.
Thank you. All questions are satisfied.
Mr. Chairman, say one more time. Do you think we not need to say it that way? Just as an amendment versus,
If I'm to be correct, I believe the word additional was added in at the first time that we passed it because we were bringing all of the salaries up to the 6%.
Right.
And the 6% cost of living, which would cause it to be an additional salaries, and that, as our resource officer Thaddeus has stated, that all we are doing is just amending to that number 4 to make this all equal to the man that the person that is getting the one that we left out.
and I guess my question was then, should this not be listed as an amendment?
As an amendment?
Yeah, versus an appropriation ordinance. I'm just raising that question.
Well, it's listed on the agenda as an amendment, amending the appropriation.
Yeah.
Beg your pardon?
At the top,
At the top of item 6.
Amending the appropriation.
Item 6 reads, an appropriation ordinance amending appropriations ordinance number 2020-6160, the 2021 budget of the general funds, and to provide a supplemental appropriation to the various counties departments of the county general fund for an additional salary increase for all full-time employees.
Right, Mr. Chairman.
So the word amending is included in the line up top line.
Right. And I won't argue the point. I just, if that's all we're amending, I just thought it would have been an amendment, but I'm not gonna argue that point.
Thank you, Justice Carey. Point well taken. If there's not any other question, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carried. Item number 7, an appropriation ordinance to provide a supplemental appropriation to fund 1,000 county general county clerk.
Move we pass this on to the full court with a recommendation of a due pass.
We have a motion.
Second.
Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? Being that there's not any, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item number 8, appropriation ordinance to appropriate funds and funds 3046 American Rescue Plan.
Again, I'll move we pass this on to the full court with a recommendation of a due pass.
We have a motion and a second. Are there any questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carried.
Aye.
We have one motion, one opposed. Item number 9, appropriation orders to reconcile all checks within 90 days endorsed for Jefferson County, and all checks over $25,000 be sent by registered mail. Do we have a motion?
So moved.
We have a motion, we have a second. Are there any questions?
Yeah.
Chair recognizes Justice Adams.
Is this, I guess what I want to know, because it's probably gonna come back, the fact that how we're gonna fund this, who's gonna be liable for?
Well, if it comes to the county clerk, and that line item is depleted or getting close to whatever, then she can then come back to us, because we do recognize that this may cost some additional postage. And so with that, and talking with the county clerk, we can then come back and visit that. And it would come out of county general.
Chair recognizes Justice Carroll.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. In my thinking, I think item 9 needs to be separated, because part of the ordinance is for reconciliation of checks, and then the other part of the ordinance has to do with distribution. And I think we got 2 items, and we all know that an ordinance should only address 1 item at a time.
I disagree.
And I see these as being separate.
Justice Carroll, I'm in favor. I believe that would be in order if we would separate those, being that they would be a separate ordinance and carry the weight that it would be necessary in order for them to be approved if the courts, if the committee has no problem with that.
Okay, Chair, if you would.
Chair
additional
recognizes
statement.
Judge.
Also, the ordinance would have to be amended to the state law. It is a 6-month change from 1 year to 6 months, so that we would have to change that language to represent the state law. And so I think that is a good idea for us to separate it and show that that is part of the state law, and amend it to say 6 months instead of the 90 days.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you accept a motion to table this for a special meeting Monday to address those 2, that separation and concern?
I would accept that motion, Justice Carroll.
Second.
Who made the motion? Okay.
He made a second.
You made the motion.
He
Carroll made the motion. You got a second.
Yeah.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Judge, that is my final report.
Meeting adjourned.